Hi, I am the analyst Arindam Roy. Today I have a new video of Chanakya to Modi series. It is the third video of this series. This series will be of the evolution of India's foreign policy. The source of all information of this video will be given in the description box. If you like this video, please click the like button and also subscribe my channel. I am here to share all kind of important topics with you. So let's start. During 2 centuries of British Raj, Indians had no power over financial, unfamiliar or military arrangements. In any event, during the 2 world wars, when a great many Indian soldiers battled as a feature of British armed forces all throughout the planet, Indians felt as a common fed as opposed to as chiefs. That experience had prompted an Indian hesitance to send its soldiers to another countries under multinational order. United Nations peacekeeping missions have been an exemption for this standard. Peacekeeping under the aegis of the United Nations has an ethical measurement and satisfies India's craving to assume a worldwide part, as well as showing India's qualifications in aiding less lucky nations. India wouldn't send troops for the wars in Korea 1950 or Vietnam 1955 or for the Gulf War in 1991. Numerous individuals were astonished while during US drove war in Iraq in 2003. The Indian Parliament and Bureau really discussed an American solicitation for the interest of Indian soldiers. India didn't join the war in the end, yet that India discussed such an issue was for some a first and showed the progression in how Indians and others see India's worldwide role. India's hesitance to send troops outside its lines doesn't, be that as it may, stretch out to its nearby area. India sent soldiers to Sri Lanka in 1987 to 90 to implement a trust between the public authority and Tamil regained guerrillas, and to Maldives in 1988 against an upset endeavour. India has likewise battled 4 wars with Pakistan, including the 1971 war that brought about production of Bangladesh. In the Indian view, the quick area is still essential for subcontinent, as is India's field for keeping up the security. In the financial domain, India has wanted independence and autarky since independence. A portion of India's establishing prime ministers would have liked to make independent towns as imagined in Gandhi's motto of Ram Rajya, in the real sense Ram's rule, which means an optimal state. Then again, Nehru, a Fabian communist, accepted that the instructing structures of the economy ought to stay in the possessions of the state. Most heads of the Indian National Congress, which drove India to freedom and administered at the center continuous until 1977, shared a doubt of the goals and wants of the corporate area. India arose with a blended economy, a mixed economy, with predominant public area and undertakings overshadowing the private area until economic reforms in 1991. Economic reforms during the 1990s helped India's private area, yet even presently open area undertakings stay critical. India's quest for autarky has some of time clashed with its longing for effectiveness in military capacity. India keeps a huge range of state and public area undertakings in safeguard producing, but on the other hand, in one of the world's top merchants of protection gear, one of the chants that father of modern India character Jawaharlal Nehru is unquestionably the one who formed India's foreign strategy or international strategy after independence. The standards and desires of India's leader and familiar pastor are alluded to as Nehruvianism and have left a permanent blemish on India's perspective, molded under the first leader Nehru steward from 1947 to 64. Nehru's character was the result of mysteries. He was a blue blood by birth. His political perspective were those of an exhaustive Democrat. He was conceived an Indian, however, was an internationalist in standpoint. He opened eyes in a Hindu home, however, grew up to be a fanatic secularist verging on agnosticism. Nehru's perspectives were outlined both by his British instruction just as by the nationalist struggle. Dissimilar to his counterparts, he had ventures to the far corners of the planet, thus saw the world and India's job in it from an international focal point. As an admirer of history, he could see that while India was frail today, one day it would be an amazing country. As an internationalist and an idealist, he advocated multilateralism and solid international foundations. As a pragmatist, while he looked for harmony, he comprehended the significance of economic and military force. Nehru was significantly affected by his guide, Gandhi, and like him tried to change India and the world. After Gandhi's death, inside a time of independence, Nehru considered himself to be the dad of his kin and endeavored to set out the construction for present-day India. He was affectionately alluded to as Chacha or Uncle Nehru, a portrayal he preferred and attempted to satisfy by endeavoring to do numerous things and being numerous individuals simultaneously. He needed India to be economically independent, to raise its skin from destitutions and to arise as a created country. Nehru perceived India's diversity both as a chance and a danger. He dreaded Vizapara's inclinations, basically strict, and looked to keep India regionally brought together and autonomous. He was a secularist who trusted India would endure just on off chance that it accepted secularism and pluralism. Nehru accepted earnestly that an assorted and complex country like India could be kept together throughout willful association of identities, religions, and racial and semantic gatherings. As far he might be concerned, popular government was the way forward for India, and Nehru considered his to be as that of instructing the two India's world class and masses on the benefits of majority rule system. Nehru likewise didn't need India to get retained with itself to the purpose in getting segregated from the world. Among his interests was the possibility of a third universal war coming about because of battling military unions equipped with nuclear weapons. He expected to forestall a future war by lecturing the world's focuses to move away from warmongering. Granville Austin has called Nehru an eager Democrat and national babysitter. And keeping in mind the two titles suit Nehru, the title national babysitter or caretaker would be similarly apt. Nehru considered himself to be an aide, a coach, non-exclusively to his own kin, yet additionally to the remainder of the world. Nehru considered himself to be an aid for India's new authority and administration, a large number of whom had less worldwide openness than him. During the 17th year that he was leader, he composed letters each fortnight to the central clergyman of chief minister of every one of Indian states. In each letter, he depicted exhaustively his key homegrown approaches choices as well as clarified the settings of those choices. The letters additionally gave insights concerning each unfamiliar visit of the executive, visits by unfamiliar dignitaries to India, and included sublets of their what was examined. Through this letter, Nehru would have liked to teach his central pastors about homegrown just as world issues. Accordingly, his letters clarified advancements like the consolidation among Egypt and Syria, bringing about the production of the United Arab Republic or Indonesia's homegrown difficulties of March 1958. We in India can't cut ourselves off from the world circumstances and need to have our influence in it at whatever point even requested, he wrote in another. In his view, India had developed some sort of a standing and world over we are regarded even by the individuals who disagree with us. As far he might be concerned, the fortnightly letters were important for his work to fabricate the new state, offering and looking for exhortation with the second level of Indian pioneers. The custom started and finished with Nehru as his replacements had neither the interest nor the tolerance to go about as educators for different legislators. His advantage in the minutest of sublets is reflected is one of the letters he kept in touch with the central ministers, in which he discussed the need to change the tallness of the brush used to clear floors to further develop the two its effectiveness, just as to guarantee that the individual utilizing it didn't confront any medical issues. Critics read into Nehru's letters addressing and composing an impression of his own dejection and his craving to discover organizations and comfort in individuals of India who were under his consideration. Yet Nehru looked to lead India into the world past the subcontinent through his books, letters and talks. He may be more worried about India's chronicled propensity to protect itself from the world past than to ease individuals' depression by associating with Indians as the grassroots. His letters and discourses mirror his misery at international class, his intense longing with that others considered the world. They voice his weakness when things didn't turn out as he had trusted they would, close his bothering and dissatisfaction, just as his fantasy for what's to come. Nehru is the lone Indian head administrator to date who examined international strategy issues in the addresses and nation over. He clarified once in a while to a group of people of uneducated laborers why India had marked a deal or would not sign, or why non-management was the best course for India. India's education rate at the time was horrifyingly low, remaining at around 12% in 1947. When injured as to why he talked about international strategy in distant towns, Nehru reacted by contending that the majority would comprehend complex choices just on off chance that they were disclosed to them. Nehru tried to lead by close to home model, now even at the expense of concentrating at an excess of work in his office. An executive he regularly answered by and by to disciplinary links from different Indian missions, as opposed to trust that his authorities will do as such. During his 17 years in power, Nehru made it a highlight go to each meeting of parliament held while he was in Delhi, accentuate the significance of parliamentary obligations. He addressed pretty much every inquiry coordinated at the public authority, regardless of whether identified with international strategy or economics. As one of Nehru's unfamiliar secretary noticed, the heaviest weight himself and during the parliament meeting was his act of instruction himself in the minutest details on each question that should have been replied, not just the inquiries identifying with the Ministry of External Affairs, yet on every of the inquiries of the relative multitude of services in the government. This centralization was not generally valued by bureaucrats or government workers, who considered it anything but a formula for hindering the wheels of government. In any case, Nehru's strategies were assisted India's accomplished with accomplishing specific heights on the worldwide stage. Nehru replacements held the arrangements and foundation he made, rolling out just restorative improvements to the Nehruvian structure. Nehru manufactured expensive agreement on different parts of India's international strategy, and succeeding government appeared to hesitate cut new way in outside commitment. The principal significant change in Indian international strategy away from Nehruvianism happened solely after the finish of the Cold War and breakdown of the Soviet Union. So here this video is ended, and we continued in the other part of the video, and that will be in the next day. If you like this video, please click the like button and also subscribe my channel. I will meet soon. Thank you. Bye.